Good evening, Canada, from a show of Voice of Canada. We are back this week. Your host, Asphandiar Wadiwalla, my co-host, Ghada Hamdani. We have a very dynamic guest speaker this week who represents Nepal. He's a hardcore community activist, and he's here in Canada since last, I think, 2 decades. So welcome to our show, Mr. Anil Thapa ji.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me over
Namaste.
here. Namaste. Namaste and good evening to all the viewers. As he said, my name is Anil Thapa and I've been living in Mississauga since 2005.
Lovely. Go ahead.
Well, from your bio, you're a licensed helicopter pilot. So can you elaborate on that? Tell us some examples.
Thank you very much. You're just taking me back to my memory lane now. After graduating in 1994, I went to pursue my professional career as a helicopter pilot in Ukraine, Odessa.
Actually, in Ukraine?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then when I finished, I came back to Nepal and flew for several years in Nepal in high terrain, did a lot of rescue flights, the people who were suffering in the Mount Everest, base camp. I did lots of stuff in Nepal. And in 2001, I moved to US to get, my command training as a captain. And the life was really fun whenever I was flying in Nepal.
How long was that?
I flew from 1995 to 2001, so like almost 6 years. 6 months, and I have more than 1,000 hours of flying.
Because Nepal is a landlocked country.
True.
And even the landing is the most difficult to land into Nepal. All the airlines, they send a very high trained pilots or captains to command that landing of Nepal airport, Kathmandu.
This stuff happened to you? Anything special happened while
as a pilot, is always exciting every day. There's a new achievement, new things you will gain, new things you will learn. There's some incidents happens which feel bad. One time I took Korean trips, the Korean group they were trying to climb the Kanchenjunga
Mount Everest.
Not the Mount Everest. There's another one which is also above the 8,000 meters. So Kanchenjunga, and then we drop at morning. While coming back, they were trying to go up, and there's snow avalanche came, and lots of people died on that times. Then we have to come back to get the rescue, because in the morning I dropped them, smiley face and everything. In the evening I have to come back and take their body back.
Because over there, hour to hour, the weather changes.
Yes. Yes. So that's the moment I always remember. But beside that, there is a lot of incidents. There's a lot of good things. And lots of bad things happen. As a pilot, there always, because as he said, there's a terrain is really bad over there. There's mountains, hills, landlocked, So, and we, especially when we're flying the helicopter, we're flying in remote areas. So going to the rural area, remote areas, serving the people over there, we don't have road transportations. So only the air transportation is these days they have a road, but when we were talking about 94, 95, 96, that time there's a road transportation, it was minimum in Nepal. So mostly they're reliable in air transportation. So lots of rice, goods, and everything we have to take them to the mountains.
Carry by helicopters.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Thapa, we also from your bio came to know that you are a radio host also. You ran a successful radio show as well. So can you give some highlight about your radio show? What was it about? It was about Nepal, or what was that?
Okay. When I came to Canada in 2005, as I said, my profession background was different than coming to the media background. So over here, what I feel the entrepreneuring or the entrepreneurship, what I feel is created by two things. Either you are born to be an entrepreneur, or the circumstance makes you to be an entrepreneur. So I am the second one.
You're the second one.
Because
Very good.
Media was not my profession. And the circumstance over here, when I came in 2005, lots of people, lots of Canadians, they didn't know about Nepal. And some they know, but they got misguided because of our brown skin. They thought like we are part of one of the countries, the neighboring countries. So then, those are the things for me was an identity crisis. To establish my own Nepali identity.
To identify Tibetan and the Nepali is very, very difficult.
Yes, Tibetan is a totally in a different countryside, but
It's a different country, I know, but
Yes.
they are.
Yeah.
These two were not very much visible in Canada
True.
few years ago, but now we see lots of Nepalis, especially even in Mississauga, with business enterprises also.
True. Because that time when I started in 2005 was a different story. Now ball game is changed. Lots of international student came, lots of immigrants from the Nepal, they came as a
Small
skilled
business
immigrant.
people are
Yes,
here.
now everybody is turning toward the business side because they also know, to sustain, to make the good income or, living in standard in Canada, you have to come as a business person. You can't rely on a job. And because over here, as we said, there's a 4W, we can't,
4Ws are highly risky
risky.
in Canada.
Well, and there's entertainment company as well.
True.
Oh, yeah. So what about that?
Okay, so I opened the SSV Entertainment. It's under my elder daughter's name in 2005 because there was not much more things happening in the community. So I want to give something to the community back.
Who are Nepalians?
Yes,
Nepalis.
yes, and we were bringing a lot of artists from back homes and doing the musical concert, trade show, talk show, to making aware what Canada is to the people, because English is not a first language for a Nepali diaspora. So, but we can survive with this English, but English is always second language. So we want to give something in our own language so that will understandable to the people easily, fastest way, So that's why we opened the SOC Entertainment, and we have done lots of concert and musical programs, lots of events that help
the Nepali
diaspora
people
to understand those things.
Still active?
Yes, indeed.
You opened another organization also, the Second Enterprises. So what that did?
The one you're talking about, the radio, or you're talking about
not radio? You opened one association,
okay.
An NGO.
Okay. So what happened is I believe in 2009, the minister, Ontario Immigration Minister Michael Chang, invited Nepalese diaspora people, especially community leaders, to look for such kind of help because they were bringing resettlement programs to the Bhutanese Nepalese who were thrown out from their Bhutan because of their language, because they were talking about Nepali, their roots to the Nepal. So that's why they were thrown out. So those Bhutanese resettlement programs was adopted by Canada and US. And that time they were bringing lots of Bhutanese in metropolitan city, especially in Scarborough. So they were asking some kind of help if, Nepalese diaspora, because of the language, because of the weather, because of the culture that we all together grown up. So it will help them. So that's why we opened the community called Everest Community Center, which is ECC. ECC means that's when you see your heartbeat, how it goes and up and down. So ECC also is monitoring the Nepali diaspora when they need some kind of help. As a newcomer, so you need lots of help. And we were there for them. Even that's non-profit organizations. We never got the grants from the government. We applied. We never got because we are invisible minority. And that time also.
But now are visible. Now Nepalis are very visible.
But if you look,
I see on the list, they are visible minorities.
But if you look on a census, it is still seeing like a Hindu community or the Indian community in the diaspora.
It count as much larger.
No, count as a visible minority to them. So we are the Nepalese diaspora.
Same thing where the community I belong to was invisible, and I brought it on the list.
True.
But with the grants, actually, it's very hard to get it to like all or any organization. There are certain organizations they always take the funds.
They always take the funds.
Yeah, regardless of the size of the community. I had experience with the Kurdish community. They are large community. They are effective. But they were unable to get any. But certain other communities, always they get the grant. They know what to do. They know how to manipulate their script and
everything. That is all pre-planned.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, true.
So, Mr. Anil Thapa, tell us what must be the population of Nepalis here in Canada?
Okay, in Canada, I think if I'm not we haven't done the census, but approximately if we're looking throughout East Coast to the West Coast, it's almost like 120,000.
120. That's a very good population.
Yes, but what happened is we are not born in one place, or that's why we are not visible. Because we are, living in
all scattered in different provinces and cities.
Yes, sir.
That's very good.
Yeah, but this organization were lobbying as well at some point.
Okay, that was another organization which is the national body of Nepalese diaspora. It's called Non-Residents Nepalese in Canada. So it is called NRN Canada. It is a global movement. When the as you're probably aware of NRI in India, the same thing happened to the Nepal also. So Nepalese diaspora, Nepalese expat who were living abroad want to join the movement and do something for the country that we belong, our mother country. We want to do something over there because we live over this country. We know the skill over here, money we have, the talent we have. We can transport those to the back home. So this is the national organizations where I lead in 2013, and I was blessed. And at that time, I was able to do some of the work for the community and for Nepal, and I'm glad that I have done a little bit part of my.
Oh, that's amazing.
You even you opened an organization which was helping newcomers, the Nepali newcomers, for setting up their life with the bank accounts and SIM cards and blah blah, all that stuff. So is your organization still doing that?
No, as I said, the Everest Community Center, the ECC, it was located in Toronto, Scarborough. And for me, driving from Mississauga to Scarborough all the time was not sufficient. And the mastermind who brought that idea that we need to serve the community, because lots of, 2010, I think lots of professors, lecturers, as a skilled immigrant, they came to Canada, and they were some kind, in a depressed because they were not getting in a job.
Proper guidance. They were not set up early settlement.
True. And also that they are coming as a skilled immigrant and they were forced to work in factories or restaurants.
That is for everyone.
Yeah.
But all communities suffer them, because last week I met a doctor, qualified doctor. He's not getting a residency and he's driving an Uber.
And that's why this is the sad part of Canada. Even if the country was built by the immigrants, but lots of things still need to be fixed, and lots of things that needs
to be fixed.
True.
Now the problems soon after the COVIDs are severe.
True.
It's difficult. Survival is difficult.
True.
Acha, Mr. Anil Thapa, inform our viewers, what is a Sherpa?
Okay.
In detail.
Yes, Sherpa is especially they are the caste. They are the one.
They are the caste. See, that's new information.
Yeah, they are one of the people that lives in a mountainside, especially the people who guide the mountaineers or trekkers.
They are known as Sherpas.
Yes, they help them to achieve their goals to reach the Mount Everest or the peak. Not only the mountains. All we have, I believe, out of 10 top hills or mount peaks in the world, we have 8 over there. I think only the K2 in Pakistan, and then rest of the things is
they are under Nepal.
Yes. And they help the Sherpas. They help. Without the Sherpa, it's hard to believe any person
they are qualified for monitoring.
Yes, because they live in a high altitude. They've been living in a high altitude and they've been practicing those things, and they've been helping everyone since the Tenzing Norgay Sherpa helped the Edmund Hillary.
See, they play an important role in Nepal, but in India, I found Sherpas to be the guards in security and here and there. All Sherpas, they were working as security guards or maybe looking after a estate or some big bungalow and all that stuff.
Yeah, in the past, the big thing was education. Getting an education was a hard thing for the people living in a remote area. So they're surviving for themselves. They have to go and work in another country. And they went to India because Nepal and India, they have open border.
That's an open border, yeah.
So Nepalese people can go easily in India and do something, and Indian people can come back to Nepal and do business or anything.
Entry and exit is not restricted.
Well, this leads us to a question. Can you explain a little bit about Nepal, where it lies, and what borders it has, and the demography?
It is surrounded by India, and the mountains.
Okay, I just want to.
And China also, no? Some part of portion of.
Who you're influenced by? Which country?
Okay, what happened is Nepal is a Hindu country.
Not a Buddhist.
No, the Hindu country. Because majority of people in Nepal is a Hindu country. And till 2008, it was a kingdom.
Yeah.
There was a monarchy.
Monarchy was
Okay, and there was
there.
in a constitution it says the Hindu kingdom, but after 2008, the influence of the European Unions, India, or some peoples, outsiders.
Mostly India governs Nepal in all aspects, from business,
yes.
trade, and everything.
Because
the army.
It was similar to us because of the religious, because of the culture, because of open border. In the south we have India, in the north we have China. Okay, two emerging power is there. Because of them, people think Nepal should be getting all the benefits, but we getting in a disadvantage because what they are making a pollutions is coming to the Nepal. And the global warming or the climate change is really impacting in Nepal. Because lots of the mountains, the snow is melting. Now it's a rocky mountains, like stones. Is now the people that Nepal is based on the tourisms, and the tourism of especially the hiking and expeditions. The mountain tours. So lots of mountains are melting, and the problem is we might be losing those businesses. Because of big two giant countries, and they're supposed to be supporting, but as he said, yes, we have a culture tie with India, so we got lots of influence by the Indian government to the Nepal politics,
and lots of Nepalis are practically working in India. You see, it's a very free, like sport, but from the faces we can see they are Nepalis.
Yeah, because the people living in the north side of Nepal are Mongolian face, which he says the Sherpas, and the people living in the south side, which I'm border to the India, so we are more the Aryan face, like
Aryans, just like our blood.
Yes.
We have got Aryan blood.
Yes,
the Persians.
Yes.
Okay, in 2015, you joined the CPC party.
Both the federal and the provincial party. So, and you are a candidate this time for our federal elections. So tell us more about your Windsor seat. And you told me you have been now residing in Windsor.
True, indeed. Let me just give a background as how I became a conservative members, both in a provincial or the federal one. I believe you remember.
I remember.
Shriya Shah.
Yeah. Shriya Shah was my partner, princess.
Yes.
I couldn't because I just celebrated her 12th death anniversary on 19th of May.
May 2012.
I remember because she is in my thoughts. I cannot forget her.
Yes, indeed. And she is the one who started the Canadian politics from the Nepalese diaspora, and we were following her because
who brought her in? I was the man who brought her into politics.
True. That's why we got to know each other. That's why we got to know.
And she was my partner in business also because we were importing those masalas from the famous chef of India.
Of India, yeah. So from there.
At that time you didn't meet me. I was with Shriya for over nearly every day, 12 to 14 hours.
True.
We used to start work at 12 noon and end at 9 or 10 in the night after calling our principals in India.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that time because I was because my motto is first, as an individual, you need to be strong, then you can serve the community. If you are weaker, you can't come and serve the community, either physical, mental, or financial. So first, because I was a newcomer, I have a past experience in the US. They didn't count over here. I have to establish myself. So I was running on that one, and 2012, we just got to know that Syria got died.
19th of May.
Yeah, when she was descending from the
she climbed the peak.
Yes, she climbed the peak. When she was descending,
she lost the oxygen supply.
Oh, okay.
The actual position was because I was approached by the media and all, and I gave the interview because I got a direct information from Nepal, from a what I call a Taima or something.
Okay.
She's alive.
Wow.
The lady who looked out whose milk Shriya drank.
Oh, okay.
So
that was the first time I got to know the Canadian politics. And then in 2014, one of our buddy, his name is Ben Sharma. He's the son of our honorary consul general of Nepal to Canada, Dr. Kunjamani Sharma. He was running the by-elections from the Spadina, Toronto. So I was the national president on that time. So my role as a community member or community worker to support the Nepali. So I just joined to helping him in his campaign. And that time I met with a lot of leaders of the CPC, Conservative Party of Canada, and then got to know in 2015 when this big earthquake happened in Nepal. That time, Honorable Minister of Defense Jason Kenney, we met with him together, and he helped lots of things for Nepal on at that time. So that made me influence to get in the Canadian politics. But I was not able to take a lead. I was helping the people who were, I was helping the campaign of the people, friends who were running in the elections. Till today, recently I moved to last January, I moved to the Windsor West, and I'm seeking a nominations over there. And I'm still looking for.
How many candidates are there from Windsor from a Conservative Party?
They haven't opened it.
They've not opened, but still you must be hearing some news.
Yeah, I heard there's 10 people have.
10 people so far
shows their interest. Yeah, shows their interest, because right now everybody have the rules to change the government, and everybody is desperate because of what's current situation happening by the current government, and everybody want to change that one.
We will take a short break and we'll meet you soon. Family was known as Shah. Shreya Shah.
Yeah, I know.
Welcome back after a short break. Your host Asphandiar Wadiwalla. You are my co-host Ghada Hamdani for our show Voice of Canada, and our guest is Anil Thapa.
Okay, welcome back.
Thank you.
Okay, between 20 and 23, the whole universe actually saw the worst pandemic, right? And you were involved in communities and lots of NGOs and stuff. Did you have a role at that time during the pandemic? Were you able?
What role you played for Nepalis and for Canadians?
Okay, we don't in a life we don't want something to be there, and it's happened, but it happened. It naturally happened. The pandemic came, the COVID. It was done by some things, which we were aware of those things. We should be taking a stand on that one before it happened to the Canadians. So lack of knowledge or lack of initiative to take the actions, lots of people had suffered. So at that times, we were doing a kind of a campaign is be safe and make the community safe, So we were, giving the lots of, initials, assistance to the people who wanted, or either cutting a grass in a neighborhood, or through the temple, we were raising a fund. Through the temple, we were raising lots of food that was supported to the food bank, and lots of international students, they come, because we are a small community and we don't have a much more community centers or resources too. So whatever stops we have in a home or with the family, with the community, we bring that together. And because we are also the Canadian Nepalese, so our role for the Canada is the same important to the other Canadians. So we played our role, is making the people safe, making the environment safe for everyone. We did that one.
Okay, that's very good. So it was on personal basis, or as organization, or as a community?
We did in all level, in a personal level also, we also provided the people who were, didn't have in the COVID times, they didn't have a place to stay because they were living in one apartment or two apartments, and somebody got a COVID and they didn't have a place. I offered the rooms in my home, in a basement, those things.
You offered all assistance you gave to your community.
True. And besides that, the community come together. Even we help the people living in the Sudbury. Lots of community people, lots of community members. They drove all the way from Windsor, all the way to the Sudbury, from the Toronto. Giving a support, or if they needed. Lots of international students came on that time, and they were living in one apartment where 6 people. Yes. And if something happened to one people, then everybody got
COVID. It was very infectious.
Yes.
Very infectious. So Anilji, also tell us, you are grooming younger politicians from the Nepali community. Last election, you introduced a candidate, and he's again going to contest this year from Mississauga Malton. what my news is. So how he has groomed, because he was totally raw when you introduced me to him.
Yes.
I'm talking about Poodle.
Bijay.
BJ.
Bhai. Yes, I think right now he got lots of exposure in the
And
party.
I find him a nice, bright young man now.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And he been to the party and involved in lots of party activities. For him is a second chance. Is a second term. He's trying to.
That was a grooming period.
Yes.
What I had told him, because he came totally raw when he spoke to me. I said, you must work hard in your EDA with the politics, with the party, and then you will groom yourself.
True.
But you can come into pipeline. There is no harm.
True.
Yeah,
he did, and he is doing a good right now. I believe this time he also, if got elected, or as a nominee, then will be more appropriate for the Nepali diaspora.
It's not open because their nomination will also take place. In Malton also, there are more than one candidate now.
Yes, indeed.
So let's see who wins.
Yes. I hope that BJ win. So at least Nepalese voice will go to the Parliament Hill. Somebody need to speak for own behalf rather than getting help from the other community, because I have seen that one. In the past I have helped lots of people, and some things for the Nepalese diaspora if needed, or invisible minority peoples need some kind of help. They are not standing in front. They are talking about more and more Canadian. You definitely you have to serve the big picture. But you can't lose the small community, not seeing that.
No, you all are very much visible. In my neighborhood, I have got a Nepalese restaurant. I used to go to near Toronto to buy momos. But now, 2 minutes drive, I get all fresh momos. I just call and the momos are ready.
True.
The economy actually is getting bad. So we believe more of your activities we're going to see. It's like as Nepali, as community. So food banks are, there's lineup and people are suffering. It's very hard to put food on the table. So what is your plan? Well, first you're activist, second you're again activist, politically active, and you're running, right? So is there any plan to help Canadians?
Yes. The first thing is I want to do the appeal from this platform. That's lots of people who had misused the food bank. Because of the address, because I have seen lots of international students especially. What they do is that they're living in the same apartment and 6 people going to get the food.
Food bank, huh?
And they're bringing the food and they eat and they throw the things.
Misuse.
They didn't realize that every food,
every
grain they're throwing outside is also making suffer somebody else.
Depriving somebody else.
So
no, we must train, educate them, bring awareness. Then only we can survive.
True.
With that.
That's why we need to, Canada always say that we are, bringing immigrants, but they're not teaching what the Canadian values. They need to, give some ideas to the people, because this is the country, everybody's singing big hope. And sometimes when you come with a big hope and you're not getting that achievement, so you get depressed and you go in a wrong directions,
Anil Thapa ji, inform us about your riding in Windsor. Does it have Nepalese population in Windsor?
We do have, but not the bigger community. But what happened is, I'm not only the representing the Nepali community.
No, I know it's a Canada, but what are the major demographics of your riding?
There's a lot of Indian Hindu community.
Indian Hindu.
Pakistani
so you're
community.
depending on them.
Yes, Pakistani community, because I want to be the voice for the voiceless, because in the Hindu community or the small community or minority groups is not represented in a parliament. We have seen the lots of people, they pretend them like they are representing them, but actually they are not doing anything for them.
But we have got representatives from Hindu, Pakistani community in large numbers at federal and provincial both, for your information.
Well, not only that, there is something, it's like we always want to represent certain communities, and now they're misusing that by actually trying to implement others' people or other communities' culture over everyone else's. So this is dangerous. So when we represent community is to bring whatever issues they have. So the government can deal with it. And I hope that, it's like it means helping everyone is not bringing something from outside, and we're coming from different backgrounds. So we have to respect others, because sometimes we see that's not happening. It's some communities have the upper hand and they are oppressing other communities. So what they suffer in their own countries, they are making other communities suffer here. So we have to be very careful at this point, right?
True. I totally believe on that one. Equality is more important, and acceptability for every community is big things. Everybody have to respect. Either they come from the minority group, or they come from the majority group, or they come from the some kind of a race or some kind of the people, and they need to understand the different culture. They need to understand the majority of things that Canada have to do is teach them the Canadian values. The
Yes.
first thing that need to be
Every
understand.
immigrant should learn
every
the
immigrant should.
Canadian values
Yes.
first.
Yes, and then as an immigrant, you won't, you don't let your root to go out, your culture to go out, because once you started to be more Canadian, then you are starting to fade out your religion, fade out your culture.
You
fade out
have
your-
got free will to observe your religion, your culture, everything. Canada is such an open place. We have got 182 nationalities over here in Canada,
True.
and all are living in peace. That is the real charm. Canada is the biggest multicultural country in the world.
No, I totally agree, and also a little bit disagree also, because given the situation what's happening right now, of the federal government, is not taking a serious matters of the things that's happening in a small minority groups. They've been, as you said, the upper people always try to oppress the people in the down, and it's happening, and that's because of those situations. You saw the car thieving. They're stealing a car.
Car theft has become a big issue now.
Yeah, and those things, if we don't address right now, it will go big crime.
It's a multi-billion-dollar crime now. It's taking place.
Yes, and we have to take the stand.
And our cars are easily available in Ghana, Nigeria, Dubai, even country like Dubai,
Yes.
with the Ontario number plates.
Yeah.
Can you believe this? It's totally disgusting.
Totally shocked.
Anilji, as you are aware, that Nepal film industry has progressed a lot in last, I would say, 1.5 decade.
True.
And they are producing very good movies.
True.
Why can't you arrange a festival of Nepali movies in Canada?
Okay, I just want to let you inform about when I came in 2005, we started to do the mini film festival for Nepal with the help of the University of Toronto students, and we organized that one. And from 2008 till to 2018, it was happening in April in the University of Toronto.
Right.
But after COVID, there was no place to.
So it was discontinued.
Yeah, it was discontinued, and a major part is for the organizer, getting a fund is a big thing, because of I don't know, is it demographic or the volume of the people is less, so they don't.
The difficulties are there.
They don't think.
They
like
organize them, contact the big producers, and they are producing the films.
True.
They can come, bring the delegation of them, the lead lady and the lead man, and the director should be here present.
True.
And there should be a premiere of the show with a red carpet.
Yes, we were thinking about that one.
What about tell us a little bit about your family? Let's go.
Yeah, let's now finally the lighter note. Tell us about your family.
Okay, as my immediate family, we don't have relatives are much more over here. My parents are in Nepal. Me and my wife and my two daughters live in over here. My wife is now taking a break from work, and so it's a kind of retirement. But she's a full-time homemaker.
Homemaker, definitely.
So my wife, and I really appreciate that she stand with me together and help me, in my professional, social, or political journey. And my elder daughter, she's in Ottawa. She's finishing her graduation from the Carleton University, and she's planning to go for med school.
Very good.
She might be, joining as a neurologist doctor or a neuroscientist. It depends on her. Yes,
Congratulations in advance.
And my younger one, she goes to the University of Toronto, Mississauga campus, and she is pursuing IT computer engineering.
Very good. Congratulations to your daughters, your wife. Our good wishes are there for them, all of you. So with that note, will you be giving a final comment or remarks to our viewers and the Nepalese community here in Canada?
Thank you for this opportunity.
Pleasure. It's our pleasure.
And it's great to meet you again in person also. And thank you, VOC, Voice of Canada, for allowing me this platform to convey my message to the Nepalese diaspora, to the Canadian people. That's what we need is the change. The change always bring either in a positive side or negative side, but you have to see the change. If you don't let the people to think changing, it won't happen. And so let's bring the change in the Canadian politics. Let's get rid of the current government and let the conservative leader, Pierre Poilievre, to lead the country and his vision and his mission to bring it home and bring the peoples together
again for peace and prosperity.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
So with that note from our guest speaker, we'll be soon signing off our weekly talk show, Voice of Canada. Your host, Asphandiar Wadiwalla, my co-host, Ghada Hamdani. We are thankful to our guest speaker, Anil Thapa ji, who is here, who represents Nepalis so well and is known to me for last nearly a decade now.
Yes, indeed.
So, and I never knew you knew the woman who used to be with me, the Princess of Nepal.
Yes, indeed.
So today I came to know, you knew her. So with that note, we'll be ending our show for this week. We would say good night, goodbye, God bless Canada, God save our King.